thing as the druids and the same thing that Israel worshiped. It's all the same. Goodness. And that's why the swastika is on the clan's robes. And I'm not talking to you right here. I'm talking to that TV camera. I know y'all know that. All right. 19. One of my favorite chapters on Israel. And how that they went after. And this is Israel. This is not some pagans. This is Israel. Go forth into the valley of the son of Hinnom, which is by the entry of the east gate, and proclaim there the words that I shall tell thee, and say, Hear ye the word of the Lord, O kings of Judah and inhabitants of Jerusalem. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, Behold, I will bring evil upon this place, the which whosoever heareth his ears shall tingle. He says the same words that he says in that 21st chapter of 2 Kings because of Manasseh's wickedness. He says these same words. Both his ears shall tingle because they have forsaken me and have estranged this place and have burnt incense in it unto other gods whom neither they nor their fathers have known, nor the kings of Judah, and have filled this place with the blood of innocents. Narkias, the word means all the charges are dropped to the ground. These were innocent babies. Babies do not go to hell. They were offering their nursing infants. That's what Lamentation says. They were offering their nursing babies to Baal. And he says, I'm going to destroy this place. And look up there in verse 8. Because you've done all this, I will make this city desolate and in hissing. Everyone that passeth thereby shall be astonished and hiss because of all the plagues thereof. I will cause them to eat the flesh of their sons and the flesh of their daughters, and they shall eat every one the flesh of his friend and the siege and straightness wherewith their enemies and they that seek their lives shall straiten them. Then shall thou break the bottle in the sight of the men that go with thee. Man, I wish I had time to even go through all this. I'm just barely getting started. I feel like I'm just throwing a rock across the top of the water and skimming the surface. We really have to sit here for about 6 months for me to even get started on it, and we'll just all take a shower and come back in every few minutes and not leave. The amount of information is just phenomenal. Then, how much time do I have? I ain't got much time at all. I've got Israel passing their children through the fire. Look at 1 Kings 3:27. 2 Kings 3. 2 Kings 3. Now this is where the king of Moab is fighting Israel, and Jehoram is the king of Israel. And Elisha is traveling with Jehoram, and the king sees, and the king of Moab sees he's losing the battle. We went through this chapter right before I left the books of the Kings here several years ago. I was going to come back to it. But look, now you want to know why this man did this, and there's been so much in the air why he did this. Now we know a little bit about it. Verse 26, when the king of Moab saw that the battle was too sore for him, he took with him 700 men that drew swords to break through even unto the king of Edom, but they could not. And the king of Moab took his eldest son that should have reigned in his stead and offered him for a burnt offering upon the wall to drive away the evil. That was a Druidic custom. That was a Halloween custom. Fires were a major part of Halloween. On that wheel of the year, every one of those were fire festivals. All those 8 points were fire festivals. And when you go into one of the books in my new set of books on the Golden Bough, it says has one volume called Balder, just Balder, I believe it is. That's one of the fathers of gods among the druids. And you get in there and it starts off Halloween fires. It's got Halloween fires in a minute. And it's got midwinter fires. And it's got Easter fires. It's all about fires. Because the fire god was Baal. The fire god was Hercules. if you watch an old Saturday afternoon Steve Reeves movie when he was the Hercules of the 50s and 60s in movies, and dubbing in the words, and Steve was a real good-looking, tall weightlifter, you know. I mean, talking like this, dubbing in English into those Italian-made movies, you know. You know how they do that, like the Japanese movies. And they're calling him the child of the sun. And they'll march these guys out in these Roman movies, and Hercules will come on the scene. He's always called the sun god or the child of the sun, or some term that reckons him to be the child of the sun god upon the earth. Y'all seen some of that, haven't you? It's written into movies. It's written into cheap movies. That's why I mentioned that. It's written into real D-grade movies. I mean, they do more research than Baptist preachers. Guy that makes a stinking movie does more research. The child of the sun. Gosh, I don't even know where to go. Where did I say where to go? Oh, look here in 2 Kings 16. 16. See if I can read some of them real fast. 16:3. I believe it's 16:3. Yeah. In the 17th year of Pekah, the son of Remaliah, Ahaz, the son of Jotham, king of Judah, began to reign. 20 years old was Ahaz when he began to reign, and reigned 16 years in Jerusalem, and he did not that which was right in the sight of the Lord his God, like David his father. But he walked in the way of the kings of Judah, yea, and made his son pass through the fire. What that's saying is we don't believe God. That's all it's saying, isn't it? Huh? It's just saying Ahaz, king of Judah, was making his son pass through the fire. That's a druidic custom. That's a Halloween custom. That's what all the fires are about at Halloween, and bonfires, and your children are the dead, and they become the mass, and they're going from house to house demanding food. You really got to connect the trick-or-treat. It was actually a Christmas thing back 150 years ago in America. They'd go from house to house, and the first Christmas, it talks about this family, the first record of any Christmas in the 1700s, and these drunken guys come up to this house demanding food, and if you don't give it to us, we're going to mess up your house. Or I like what Garrison Keillor said. He was on that special the other night, and he said, after little kids throw a bunch, he said it's kind of difficult to get wet toilet paper out of a tall maple tree. He said, I had to reconsider my stand on capital punishment that night. I thought that was funny. Now where was I? This is Ahaz, king of Judah, making his son pass through the fire. When you make them pass through the fire, that's a druidic thing. That's a Halloween thing. That's a Celtic thing. And they were doing it saying, I'll drive away evil spirits and drive away demons. In other words, they were saying, I deny Jehovah God. And God destroys Israel for this. And this is the same. It's the same system as Baal in the Grove, the same thing as Christmas. It all interweaves and twines together. You can't even get one away from the other. It's like this big meshwork of one system to the other. It's because Babylon mothered it all on self, let's make us a name. And when a man constructs his own religion, he can't keep it straightened out, can he? He's got all these many gods. And it ain't nothing but a man, because their gods, those little children that walk up to a house and knock on the door asking for candy, it's the same thing as Shintoism in Japan. It's ancestor worship, because they're playing the part of the ancestor being the dead god that's coming knocking on the door for food. And they wanted to tone down the image of it in the 1800s. And the business people worked on it for a long time before they actually got it into shape where they could make it a kid's holiday. You read the Battle for Christmas. Has anybody got that here? You read the thing through, you can't believe what you're reading. Because when Christmas was done by the heathens 150 years ago, it was nothing. They didn't put up a tree and stand around singing joy to the world. They went from house to house. Hey, give us some perry. That's pear wine. Give us some perry. or give us some booze, and if you don't, we'll burn your house down. Trick or treat. That was Christmas. And the people were afraid and dreaded to see them coming. That's why the dead St. Nicholas, who is an ancient ancestor, comes, and now there's nothing to dread. They painted him different. They were trying to change. Then once they painted into a children's holiday, then they took it back from themselves. Now they have wild Christmas parties and wild... I know what kind of parties they have.